We have been discussing that within that to check on either the test is failed or not, or the results, that is what the result from the circuit is pass or the result is said to be failed, the decision parameter should be known, right? So for that case, we have a SMO plot which is going to represent based on the measurement of AC circuit or DC circuit, whatever it may be the parameters. So we'll be checking out based on the supply voltage and with respect to the time. Why? Because each and every circuit, what happen after testing it, we'll be checking out with respect to the speed of that circuit operation, and also the power, how much level of operating voltage it is required to define that circuit. That is a major thing. So this small plot, which is going to represent that the two things, one variable is of voltage level and one variable is of time level. Okay. So when we have an acceptable reading combination, these are represented as an star mark, and at the rate is represented as an unacceptable reading combinations. Okay, unacceptable reading combinations. So on these comparisons, on these respective of smooth plot, what happened? The level at which point the what is the voltage level that is going to be plotted. So that is what below. If the time is increased with respect to the voltage, what happened? The unacceptable reading combinations are more. If the time is less and the voltage levels are more, what happened? There is an representation with acceptable reading combinations. That is what we can define, that the two levels, the statistical levels, either the test is passed or test is said to be failed. Okay, unacceptable in the sense it is said to be a failed test, and acceptable can be treated as an passed test. Okay, the next one comes out with the production. So production in essence, as we know, to say in a general way, if you develop any applications and send it for the marketing end, so based on the requirements, based on the statistical of marketing placements, we will be defining our product production, right? Here also, in the VLSI also, what happened, we'll be saying that with the respective of some considerations, every fabricated chip is subjected to one production test, which are less comprehensive than characterization test at the most of the enforced quality requirements by the determining whether the device meets specification. So one thing is what production mainly concentrates on based on the fabrication itself. Okay, based on the extraction of the product. So if the fabrication of chip is subjected to a production test, okay, it is a part of a production test. So what happens is that is characterized, that depends upon the characterization of the test, what it is done in the production level, and it enforces the quality of requirements. Quality of requirements, that is with respect to their specifications. So for example, if you have one device, one microprocessor or microcontroller device, it means it will be comparing from the previous developer product with the new product, will be comparing with the specifications and the quality of its performance, right? So that is what the first production point we will be discussing on, the characterization, quality of requirements, and determining with respect to their specifications. Okay, the next one, we concentrate on the vectors. Okay, the vectors may not cover all the possible functions and data patterns, but must have a high coverage of modeled faults. So what is this thing in the sense, vectors in the sense, so how many bits per second, or the how many how much amount of data you are going to process within the circuits, okay, within the digital circuits or the within the VLSI circuits. What is the data pattern? How we are going to send the data, either it is of binary data, whatever it may be, the data pattern. What is the data pattern and what were the possibilities? All that cannot be covered within one testing itself. Okay, so that makes a major fault in testing of each and every level. So this is what the vector may not cover all the possibility of functions and data patterns. Okay, but must have a high coverage of model faults. But also it requires to have a high coverage of model faults. So where do we have a fault that should be identified? The main driver is cost, since every device must be tested. So what happens to check on each and every application or each and every device? What happened? It requires a more cost, right? To complete, if you want to check complete application, what happens? It requires a more cost and cost effective, expensive. So in this, what happened? So each and every device has to be tested. Okay. The test time must be absolutely minimized. Fault diagnosis is not attempted, and only go or no go decision is made. So test time must be absolutely minimized. That is what if the test time is minimized, what happens? We can recognize the outputs are much efficient, and we can process the next test operation with an efficient way. Okay, so that is what for each and every application or for each and every device, what happens? We require a test time should be very less amount itself. Okay, and therefore, fault diagnosis is not attempted, and only go and go decision is made. So we can't identify this is a fault. Within that fault, we have an this error. We can't identify each and everything. The test only says that this is passed or failed. That's it. Okay. But the fault diagnosis, what happened? Then that has to verify it, either the each and every section in the application is tested or not. It is going to give a correct result or not. That should be diagnosed by the fault diagnosis system itself. Okay. So fault diagnosis is not an attempted, only go and go decision is made. Okay. Production tests are typically short but verifies all relevant specifications of the devices. So production test is typically short. Why? Because they'll be developing the product and they'll be sending it to the testing unit generally. Okay. They only check on the production department. What they say is that they'll be checking this is working or not. That's it. The internal errors or the internal fault is they are not going to recognize it. Okay. They'll be sent their relevant sections to identify what is the performance of the devices. Okay, and it is an ongoing inspection test of each device, and it is not repetitive. So in fact, it is an general operation. Each and every circuit or each and every device of the production department has to be tested. Okay, and that is not to be repeated continuously. Why? Because if once it is tested and if it is okay, you'll be sent for the next level. Okay, we test whether some devices under test. Okay, parameters are constrained with the device specifications under the normal operation conditions. So here we have a DUT, which is said to be device under test. Device under test in the sense, nothing but it is a role which is under automatic test equipment, ATE. Okay, so what is that ATE defines generally in the sense it is on it takes a high frequency of device operating level and it is going to drive an test operation. So this is the device under test is a part of ATE itself, automatic test equipment. Okay, so either the DUT parameters are constant with the device specifications under the normal operation conditions. So this has to check on all the parameters within the device or compatible with the specifications or not. That has to be verified. We test either the speed required by the applications of the device or at the speed of guaranteed by the supplier. So what happens based on the specifications and based on the requirements of the device speed, we'll be comparing it. Okay, we'll be checking on with respect to the application. Yeah, next one is burn-in. Okay, burn-in. So we know that what is an burn, right? When you come to the circuits part, we say burn in the sense either the device is it is shorted or if it is in an non-operating mode, that is said to be there. Okay, so here burn-in a sense all the devices that pass production test are not identical when put to an actual use. Some will fail very quickly while others will function for a longer time. Okay, so this is a general thing. So if you take on any application, what happens if the device is if the application is running for a few years, so that can be treated as it is a very good product. If the application is said to be failed within of 1 month or 2 months, what happens? It is said to be it is not much efficient in the operation level. So burn-in ensures the reliability of tested devices by testing either continuously or periodically over a long period of time by causing a bad devices to actually fail. So burning is what in the sense it checks on, that is what burning in the sense it is a continuous procedure. So for example, if you have your mobile phone, you'll be operating it and you'll be checking on your battery condition, it is working or not. Okay, for every month you'll be checking on what is the battery performance, it is increased or decreased, or else it is continuously operating with its hour per battery level. Okay, so based on that conditions, what happen? You are continuously monitoring your application, monitoring your mobile device, right? So within that, the burning also ensures, burning also defines that the reliability of test devices. Reliability of test devices in the sense within of our applications, VLSI applications, we'll be checking on what is the reliability of that application. Okay, either it is continuously or periodically monitored, or if it is running for the longer period of time, what is the service of it? Either it is a good service or bad service, that should be identified within that itself. Next one, incoming inspection. Okay, incoming inspection. So incoming inspection in the sense that it represents here, a system manufacturer performs incoming inspection on purchased devices before integrating into them into a system. So what happens to design an application? What happens? We'll be having a number of chips, right? A number of module chips, architecture chips, or memory chips, or device, or something like processor chips, whatever it may be. So manufacturer, what happens? He is going to inspect it. So after getting the one circuit model, it has to be inspected first. It has to be tested first. Okay, either it is working in a good condition or not, and that is set for the integration procedure, and that is sent for the building an integration for the application. Okay, the incoming inspection may done for random samples with the sample size depending on the device quality and the system requirements. In some cases, what happens, they need not to check each and every uh, device, over there. Okay, they'll be checking on with random samples. Okay, for example, if you have 100 chips, 100 transistors, for example, we'll be taking around 20 as a sample, and we'll be checking it. Okay, either it is working condition or not. So that's what the incoming inspection checks, what based on our requirement. Okay, based on our requirement and the purchased devices, you are going to inspect it, you are going to check it. The most important purpose of testing is avoid placing defective devices in the system assemblies where the cost of diagnosis may far exceed the cost of the incoming inspection. So most of the purpose of testing, in essence, what is the need of testing in essence? It is going to check on what is the defective within the devices, and when we are going to assemble it for the application, and also we'll be checking on with the failures, to overcome the failures, and to reduce the cost of that equipment also.